Sabah everybody and welcome back to the channel, and I'm pretty sure you guys already know that the brand new Galaxy S line of devices was just announced and made available from Samsung here in San Francisco. And I'm talking about the brand new Galaxy S20, the S20 Plus, and the S20 Ultra. All three of these devices are going to be the flagship of the S line of devices from Samsung for 2020, and of course they're starting 2020 with a bang. So let's go ahead and talk about all of the special features each one of these devices have and what you should consider if you're thinking about getting a brand new device from Samsung in 2020. This is TK. Let's go ahead and check them out. Like and subscribe and make sure you hit that bell icon so that you're always notified whenever we have new videos on the channel. So the Galaxy S20 line of devices is comprised of three different devices. There's the S20, the S20 Plus, and the S20 Ultra. Different than what we had last year where we had the S10e and the S10 and the S10 Plus. This year we're starting from the almost like the S10, and that's the S20, the S10 Plus to the S20 Plus, and then of course the S20 Ultra, which for the most part is kind of like getting a Note 10 size device. So we're talking starting from the standard going all the way up to a Note 10 size style device, so a 6.9-inch display. All three of these devices are going to be available in multiple markets and different versions. You'll have different versions, meaning we're going to have some of them running the Snapdragon 865, the brand new chipset from Qualcomm, as well as the ability of seeing them with these, I think the Exynos 990 in different markets. So I think in Europe and the Arab market, for the most part, you guys are going to see the 990, and in the US, we'll probably see the Snapdragon 865, coupled, of course, with the X55 modem that is going to give us 5G capabilities. Now, all three of these devices will have 5G capabilities, so the S20, the S20 Plus, and the S20 Ultra, although the S20 and the Plus will have an option of actually getting in a 4G model. So that's going to depend on the market and availability. So depending where you are, you may see a 5G version of the S20 and S20 Plus, or you may be able to see a 4G. Now that does impact a little bit as far as the specification between the three different devices, but I feel like at least what they're giving you there is the ability of getting them at a little bit less of a price, because the 5G will always go in a little bit as a premium for us. As far as the shared information between all three of these devices, all of them will share basically that they're going to carry either the Snapdragon 865 or the Exynos 990. All three of them are going to have a curved display on the edges. All three of them will have an ultrasonic fingerprint sensor on them, and then of course all of them are going to be supporting a 2K display. Now, as far as the refresh rate that we heard from a lot of people, yes, it's going to be available on all three of these devices, although keep in mind that it is capped at 1080p. So if you're looking to get the higher refresh rate of the 120 Hertz, the device will basically have to be downscaled to 1080p right now. And of course, hopefully in the future, we'll be able to see that go up to the actual 2K display. But those are some of the main benefits of having Samsung line of devices. They generally give us the best of the best, and the S line is always the most popular for every year. Now, when it comes to the actual display size, we're looking at a 6.2-inch for the S20, a 6.7-inch dynamic AMOLED for the S20 Plus, and a 6.9-inch display for the S20 Ultra. Now, that one's pretty close to almost the size of a Note 10 Plus from last year. As far as the actual cameras that we have in here, both the S20 and the S20 Plus will share basically the same camera. That's a 10 megapixel camera capable of shooting 4K at 60 frames per second. And of course, when we go to the Ultra, we're going to be moving up to a 40 megapixel sensor, also capable of shooting 4K at 60 frames per second. But when we switch it over to the back sensors, that's when it actually gets a very interesting change. Both the 20 and the 20 Plus will be sharing a 12 megapixel main shooter at f1.8, a 12 megapixel wide angle lens at 123 degrees at f2.2, and a 64 megapixel sensor telephoto lens capable of shooting up to 30 times zoom. So those are going to be the 20 and the 20 Plus. When we go over to the Ultra, we're going to be supporting a brand new 108 megapixel at f1.8 sensor. That's going to be able to give us the ability of shooting at 8K at 24 frames per second, at 12 megapixel ultra wide, similar to the ones we saw the other ones with f2.2, and a 48 megapixel periscopic lens that enable us to actually have 100 times zoom, that the ability of zooming up to 100 times and actually seeing what's on the other side. So definitely very nice, and of course that's going to be basically limited to the 5G model only on the S20 Ultra. Now, as far as RAM and storage, we're looking at basically the starting point from 8 gigs of RAM all the way up to 12 gigs of RAM, depending on the model that you're looking for. And as far as storage, all the way from 128 gigs of internal storage up to 512 gigs of internal storage. Then this is also UFS 3.0, the faster type of memory that we have. So basically taking pictures at that high 108 megapixels, you'll be able to save it right away to your device. Last but not least, of course, microSD support is still here for all three of these devices. So if you're getting a single SIM or a dual SIM version of this device, you'll be able to still support an SD card, which is really, really good. And of course, IP68 all across the line of devices. Now, when it comes to the battery size, the S20 will have a 4000 milliamp battery, and of course the Plus goes up to 4500, and of course the Ultra will go up to 5000. So basically a 500 milliamp hour increment increase going up. But the charging speeds is where it gets very interesting. As you saw by the end of 2019, that the S10 Plus did support the 40 watt or the 40 watt charger that you were able to purchase separately. This one's actually going to be supported on the Ultra out of the box, and the S20 and the S20 Plus will support the 25 watt fast charging, which is really nice. The ability of charging these massive batteries very quickly is always necessary, specifically when you want to be able to stay and enjoy basically the device as much as possible. Android 10.0 will be launching on these devices with One UI 2.1. So most of us have One UI 2.0, which is basically what we're starting to get on all of our S10 line of devices, and I did a video for you guys not that long ago on the S10 Plus that I have. 2.1 will probably have some nice little tweaks here, some feature sets that are basically made specifically for the S20 line of devices. So hopefully we'll see some of these features come down, although if it's hardware dependent, like let's say the 100 times zoom that we have there, or even the 8K at 24 frames per second, unfortunately those things are going to be locked into hardware specific things. So the S20 line will be exclusive for now. Maybe the Note 20 will definitely show us some really new tricks that Samsung can do there. So considering all these features that we're looking here, what are some of the main features you need to consider when you're looking in here? Overall, the device itself will have wireless charging, reverse wireless charging, and of course we're going to have basically some great cameras and of course great audio. The main thing that we definitely did not have a chance to be able to play with or at least try out yet is the ability of taking pictures and videos, especially with that 8K mode outdoors, to be able to see how things are working. The zoom functionality looked really nice, and of course as long as you have it on a tripod, I feel like it works the best, and it actually transitions very, very nicely, as we saw as well. Pre-orders should be able to start very soon, of course, and availability is going to be in March, which is typical to Samsung. They always generally announce it in the middle of the month. Pre-orders start up about a week or so later, and of course availability will be like roughly the beginning of the next month. So depending on which carrier you're going to be with, you'll be able to pick up this device. Of course, as you pretty much know, all carriers will carry it. T-Mobile, Sprint, Verizon, even some of the other carriers out there, they should be able to support the Galaxy S line of devices. And keep in mind, which version you get is depending on where you live. So US will be the 865 with the X55 modem for the 5G model, and of course if you're using the Exynos, it's going to be the 990, which both of these chipsets are going to be very close in performance. The 865 is a little bit better as far as performance from what we've seen, and of course the 990 is a very close second. So let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think of the brand new line of devices, and are you excited as much as I am to be able to check them out? I want to say thank you very much to both Rakami TV and Android Basha for all of the support that they gave me to be able to provide you guys this coverage from here at Unpacked 2020. Let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think of the brand new line of devices, and are you excited as much as I am about checking them out? For me, it's definitely going to be the S20 Ultra. Of course, with 5G on T-Mobile, I'll be able to pick it up hopefully as soon as pre-orders start, and of course hopefully have it available as soon as the devices start shipping out in early March. This is TK. Thank you very much. Like and subscribe as usual, and I will see you guys in the next video.